Hello. All right. Today we're going to take a little break from horror movies, okay? I watched a movie last night that I've been wanting to watch for a long time. I'm talking about The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, which is a film by Terry Gilliam, a film that is like basically 20 years in the making, okay? This is a movie that is cursed, essentially, that Terry Gilliam has been trying to make forever, okay? It went through completely different casts like many times. Initially, it was meant to be Jean Rochefort, French actor, playing Don Quixote, and Sancho was meant to be freaking Johnny Depp. Okay, that movie was completely cursed. The set got destroyed completely. The actor Jean Rochefort had some health issues. They just couldn't make it. Okay, so much. It went through so many issues that they even put together a documentary called Lost in La Mancha. A very good documentary. I highly recommend you check it out about the making of this failed film. And this is a movie that sounded really, really epic. It did. It sounded awesome. And I've always wanted to see it. And I'm not the only one. Okay, Terry Gilliam himself, this is kind of like his passion project, really. And you want someone like Terry Gilliam to direct something like Don Quixote. It seems exactly the kind of thing that would fit his style. So he kept going with it. He kept trying to make it, and things, bad things kept happening. Whether it was like the rain, like destroying the whole set again, whether like the elements were against him. Freaking, he went through several actors for Don Quixote. He went through. At one point, it was meant to be Robert Duvall playing the role. At one point, it was meant to be Michael Palin, which I was actually excited about. Robert Duvall, not so much. When they announced that, I was like, really, Robert Duvall? I don't see him as could. No, not really. John Hurt was actually a really good choice, I thought. Unfortunately, he also had health issues, and he eventually passed away, sadly, from cancer. Okay, so this whole production, and that's been going on for years and years and years, and I gotta say, mad respect to Terry Gilliam for pushing through and actually making this movie. Okay, finally, in 2018, he made this movie, kind of closed the Cannes Film Festival with it. This movie didn't do well. It actually did very poorly at the box office, as most Terry Gilliam movies, no matter how good or bad they are, tend to do. It was kind of a failure, unfortunately. And I was actually really sad because I really, really wanted to see this movie when it first came out. Didn't really get released in theaters, like very limited release. And so it was, on streaming networks and stuff. And I was like less excited about watching it there. So I was like, you know what? I'll see if I can see on the big screen. Never did. So eventually I was like, yesterday, it's a long movie, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to watch this movie because I've been wanting to see this movie for 20 years. And again, huge, huge respect to Terry Gilliam for pushing through this cursed project. Probably one of the most cursed projects ever in terms of like cinema. I don't know. It was right up there with like the freaking Crow remake, that's been in development hell forever. No, I like this movie. I like this movie a lot. And you know what? Like, this movie is not what I expected from the early days, from the Lost in La Mancha days. This is not really the movie he was set out to make initially, okay? He set out to make kind of a Baron Munchausen, kind of a bigger movie, right? With like lots of kind of puppeteering and crazy sets and stuff. This is the kind of movie that Terry Gilliam initially really wanted to go over budget with, as he tends to do again. And he didn't really, he kind of did that here. Like, he still kind of, it cost him a good amount to make this movie. Like $15 million or something like that. Fortunately, he made like $2 million. But this movie feels kind of smaller in scale, but not in a way that's like, that I thought was like jarring. I think they set out to make a very different movie, and the movie that they eventually made is a smaller story that actually fits Don Quixote quite well. And it's because Don Quixote, what he pictures in his mind is like so much grander and more epic and crazy than what's actually happening. Okay. And this movie parallels that brilliantly, I thought, because this is a movie that's like, it refers to the making of this crazy project quite a lot. Like this movie is about movies, is about filmmaking and the struggle of it, and how you have a vision of something, but like reconciling that with like reality is very difficult. Okay, and you can get lost in it. And that's how I saw this movie. Okay, it's about other stuff as well. Of course, it's about Don Quixote, but by having Sancho, okay, essentially Adam Driver's character, who is a film director, who made a Don Quixote movie before. It was like this art film. It was beautiful, and the film kind of catches up with him like later on, and he's making kind of a remake, kind of like a maybe a hollower kind of remake, like a more mainstream kind of thing. And he's, everyone sees him as this genius, etc. But the film just never materializes because crazy shit keeps happening. Okay, and he ends up face to face with his creation, Don Quixote, this actor who wasn't an actor initially. Is this guy he met, like a shoemaker in this little village, Spanish village, and the Don Quixote is played by Jonathan Pryce. Which, you know what, like when they finally announced, Jonathan Pryce as Don Quixote, I was like, dude, why wasn't that the first choice? It's Jonathan fucking Pryce. He's the Terry Gilliam actor. Come on, Brazil, dude. And he's got the right stature and everything for Don Quixote. He's done crazy accents before in The Brothers Grimm, for example. He's a great actor. So for me, they landed on the perfect choice. I love Jean Rochefort, and I'm sure he would have knocked it out of the park. John Hurt, same thing. But damn, Jonathan Pryce is so freaking good in this movie. Oh my God, what a performance. It is a shame this movie didn't enjoy more success, because you know what? This movie deserved 1 or 2 Oscars. Let's be real. Like, if not Adam Driver as like, his kind of douchebag film director, definitely Jonathan Pryce should have got something, at least an Oscar nomination. Come on, because he really, like, what I appreciate about this performance is that he could have phoned it in, but you know what? He was like, this means a lot to my friend Terry Gilliam. I'm gonna give it the best performance that I can possibly do, and he does, and it's freaking awesome. It is. So yeah, so Adam Driver's character finds this shoemaker, and he casts him as Don Quixote. Okay, and at first he's like very awkward. He's not an actor, but he studies the text and everything. And when he catches him and he actually grows into the role really well and nails it. And then he catches up to him many years later, still alive, but he's like playing Don Quixote in like this little trailer, like in the middle of nowhere. There's this old lady that's like forcing him to like act out the movie over and over again, which is a messed up idea, and I love it. And he manages to escape thanks to Adam Driver's distraction, but unfortunately his mind is gone. He's basically Don Quixote at this point. Like, he's on the horse, he's got the armor, and just by being there, Adam Driver ends up being his Sancho. And at first he rejects this idea. It's like, how dare you? I'm not Sancho. I'm like this guy. But eventually he just becomes Sancho, and he becomes the adventures of Don Quixote and Sancho, but like in modern day, with occasional glimpses at the fantasy aspects of like the past, what it would have looked like in the past, etc. I love this movie. Honestly, I would watch this movie again. It's so good. The critics were really harsh with this movie for no reason. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Some critics were like, it's too long. It's like, it's not that long. I've seen movies that were way longer and way shittier. Okay, like, this movie is good. It's it's long, but it's like, I was never really bored watching it, like, at all. I was kind of like into it. I was like along for the ride the whole way. Okay, it could have been shorter, I guess, but it's like, what is the point of Terry Gilliam taking 20 years to make a movie if he's gonna like over edit himself and like make an hour and a half long movie? Like, there's no point. It's Don Quixote. It should be a little bit epic. Critics would have given him even more shit if he'd made it like any shorter. They would have been like, all this just for that. Like, you can't win with these guys. You just can't. And I don't know. Critics just hate Terry Gilliam for some reason. Terry Gilliam, like, honestly put his heart and soul into this, and it shows. Like when um when the ending of the movie hits, okay, and Don Quixote's kind of downfall, inevitable downfall, happens, it's sad. Like it hit me. Like it was sad, and mostly because freaking Jonathan Pryce is just incredible in the role. Like really. And this movie harkens back to me, harkens back to classic Terry Gilliam films. It feels a little bit like The Fisher King, which honestly, like The Fisher King was heavily inspired by the story of Don Quixote. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of The Fisher King. There's a little bit of Tideland in there. Yeah, this is his best movie in a while. Adam Driver is very good in this movie. He is very dislikable initially, but as he kind of like suffers through being Don Quixote's ally, he kind of gets gets his due. So it's actually a lot of fun to see him struggle with that. He really like goes through a lot, and his character arc is actually really interesting. There's a couple of things in the movie they could have gone maybe deeper into, but at the same time, like if Terry Gilliam had had his way, you would have had these crazy kind of like fantastical kind of side bits, like Don Quixote fighting the giants would have been some crazy, crazy stuff. And you do see the giants like near the end. It's really cool. It's actually a really good payoff the way they've done it. But I didn't miss it. I didn't miss like the crazier aspects of it that we could have had, like the giant puppets and stuff. I don't know. I feel like the movie did really well without it. There's a few things they could have done better, I guess. But you know what? Like, dude, Terry Gilliam made this movie, and it's a good movie, and it really like had the right kind of emotion to it. I really felt like the spirit of freaking Don Quixote was really well captured here. Jonathan Pryce, holy shit, amazing. Adam Driver, honestly, like I actually think he suits this movie better than Johnny Depp probably would have. I don't know. Johnny Depp is maybe a little bit too cool for school, especially back in the day. Like Adam Driver has this kind of douchebag energy that's very easy for him to tap into, and he really works as this character. Johnny Depp would have been very good, I'm sure, but Adam Driver was a really good choice. And actually, Adam Driver helped get this movie made, which I really respect as well. He didn't need to, but it was like, yeah, you should help get this movie made because I want to freaking see it. Dude, I am just so happy I got to see this movie. Hugely underrated film. Like, really. The critics were needlessly, ridiculously harsh on this one. It's not an epic project, like the old days of Terry Gilliam. But you know what? Like, he can't make these movies. He can't. The studios are too scared. No one lets him go over budget. It's a struggle for him to make movies, okay? And the critics hate him as well. Like, they don't get his movies until many, many years later. Like, Brazil came out, and everybody was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And then years later, now it's like a classic. It's like, oh, okay. Same thing with freaking Baron Munchausen. When it came out, it just did horribly, but Baron Munchausen is amazing. Like, it's an amazing movie, and it took so long for people to realize that. So, yeah, this movie really taps into that. This movie captures the struggle of filmmaking, the struggle of getting your vision across, the struggle of kind of Don Quixote, of reconciling this kind of, the dream world, the reality, past, future, present. It's all kind of intertwined into this struggle that is life, and this movie really captures that really well. You really feel like Terry Gilliam's hands are all over this one. It feels like a Terry Gilliam film, and it's got enough depth to it that when the movie ends, you're still thinking about it. I will watch this movie again one day because I think there's a lot more in there that I think I can kind of look into and kind of really appreciate. Yeah, good movie. I wish I'd seen it in the theater. I would have loved it. I would have fallen in love with this movie if I'd seen it in theaters. I highly recommend you check it out. It's on Hulu at the moment, I think. Yeah, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It used to be on Amazon Prime. It's on Hulu now. Go check it out. It's a good Terry Gilliam movie, and we haven't seen one of those in a while. It's better than stuff like The Brothers Grimm. It's less, believe it or not, it's a messy movie, as every Terry Gilliam movies are. It's so much better than The Zero Theorem, which was kind of a mishit in my book for Terry Gilliam, and it's better than The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which was unfortunately like really kind of hurt by the death of Heath Ledger. Even though it was a very good movie, this movie's better. For me, it's a return to form for Terry Gilliam, and I'm just so happy he got to make it. So definitely check it out if you can. Please check it out so we can boost this movie a little bit, so much that we can get like some kind of re-release in theaters so I can watch it. Okay, take care, everybody. See you in the next review.